In my own life, I have seen individualistic therapy make this worse. Because a narcissist has gone to therapy and learned how to be happy in their aloneness.
Maybe can you flesh that out a little bit more? Like being happy in their aloneness? Because in my mind, what immediately goes off is it would be very hard to be genuinely happy.
Oh, yeah.
When being alone. So I'm not sure what you mean by like happy in their aloneness.
Well, they've learned skills to manage their mood, basically. It's not that they're happy in their aloneness, really.
I see.
There's an empty hole that they're constantly filling. Instead of filling the hole, they've learned how to always be filling it, essentially. But there's still an empty hole. There's an empty hole where that connection was meant to be. I have seen that empty hole get filled with a religious connection, because they can fully open up and feel their love and connection and trust with a religious feeling, and they can connect to themselves in that. But the problem with that is they end up having an untraumatized experience only in their religious experience, and then they're still not trusting others outside of that. Me versus you mentality is one of the things we work on. It's that worldview that we need to divide.
Splitting.
They have their own split. They have the side that's in a good energy and the side that's in their bad energy as well. Because they have the things they show and the things they don't show. And they think we're all doing the same thing. They don't realize that, authentic living is actually including your experience in the moment. Most of the time, we need to be able to express what's really happening inside us. And if we don't, that goes very wrong.
Yes.
And it goes very wrong in couples, right? They need to be able to understand each other. You're not going to feel seen and understood if you're not even showing what your true experience is.
Well, that's right, because you're not really in a relationship at that point. You're there, but in a genuine way, you're not really present. So, there's this whole concept of false self. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like you're there in a false way because you're not there in a genuine way.
Right. You're not including all of yourself.
Yes.
Just including the parts of yourself that look pretty or the parts of yourself that you want to show. And you're leaving out the other parts. And when you leave those parts out, it makes them feel like they're unacceptable. That's where shame ends up living. But the reality is we fall in love with each other's flaws. We're all flawed. But in the case of narcissism, they feel like they're not allowed to have flaws. Or if they have flaws, it means they're not as good. So they deny having flaws. We all have flaws. You're watching reality TV and someone exposes that, oh my gosh, I have an issue. I can't seem to leave my shoes alone. I organize them, or they share about their anxiety. The audience leans in and feels connection to the person who's sharing their flaws. We all have them. That's why. It's what makes us human. We're not robots and we're not perfect. And that's part of why mental health is so fascinating too, right? We're not robots. There's no two same people. Narcissism is such a nuanced concept, and it's something we all have, like we said before, different degrees and in different ways. But in the case of narcissism, these are really immature processes. They're not highly evolved, skillful emotional processes. Yeah,
which makes them then so open or amenable to treatment, right? Because they're immature, which means something has not yet been resolved in these people who are struggling with these narcissistic characteristics. And again, I know this isn't a popular way to think about it, but then that's something that becomes part of the work, is helping them develop more mature ways of adapting or coping with painful feelings that are objectionable, rather than what we just said a moment ago, rather than splitting them off. When they get split off, then they get projected onto other people and other people become devalued, right? So all of what you're saying just makes me think the unthinkable, which is that yes, we do and we can help people who struggle with these characteristics.
People's behaviors do not have to be set in stone. You can change your behavior no matter who you are and what is. You just have to want to change behavior.